Gosh, I'm not going to be able to take a lot of stuff, really. Is it going to be cold there? I don't know. I guess I should be in here. You're going to be okay, Jen. Call your sister. Hello. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
So where are we going now?
Do you think that? No, we're going to Houston. Wow, this has all changed since I've been here. 44.
Have you ever been to Houston?
No.
You ever been to Texas?
No. Georgia. I went with my stepmother to pick up her brother. I guess he was in prison in Georgia. Thank you. Ginger always says that whenever I sit down, I fall asleep, so I try not to sit down too much during the day. It's true, though. It's humid here. We're going to see how they have got their homeless population down to 3,000 from 8,000 around about. Oh wow, this is a fancy car.
Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Dennis. You up early today, huh?
Ready to shoot?
Yeah. Oh, this bed isn't that comfortable, you know. It's like a big lump, like my back feels is going like this rather than straight. On concrete, it's much better because it's like you're straight or you're like this. And this way, I'm like this. Ginger didn't answer. I've been texting her. She only answered me once. That's typical of her, though. She likes to make me worry. Hi, I'm Tony. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to Houston.
Hi, Tony.
Looking
I'm
forward-
Ann Stern.
And
I'm Bob Urey.
Hi, Tony. I'm Chow.
Joy. Very good.
Hi, I'm Julie. Nice to meet you.
Mark, it's nice to meet you.
Tony,
Yes.
welcome to Houston.
I'm Tony.
Hi, Tony.
San Diego.
A lot of people come to Houston and say, how in the world did you do this? What was your special sauce?
It's not always a sexy story of we're going to do the hard work to create enough housing and build this crazy collaborative collective system.
Yeah.
While that's not sexy, the results are.
Yeah.
We're spending tens of millions of dollars every year,
Yeah.
and we're only really achieving anecdotal stories of success. We're not moving that needle at all.
Yeah.
So what can we do differently, spending the same amount of money,
Yeah.
but to achieve actually real results?
Then Mayor Parker announced that she wanted to take a different approach, and she wanted to see what we could do if we collectively came together and tried to align all the systems and all the providers of services for the homeless. And she wanted to do that using data. She wanted to really look at where the needs were and where the capacity was in the system to be more efficient and to serve more people.
We have lots of agencies working in parallel to each other, not ever converging on the problem and trying to solve it, but working in parallel, and everybody has their own little piece of the mission and their funding source, and they know what their outputs are supposed to be. And instead, we were able to get everybody focused on how do we solve the problem of homelessness and reduce our overall numbers, with everybody coming together on a new mission instead of the separate missions that they've had.
Kind of redirect, refocus everybody.
Exactly.
In this case, we're rebuilding a system of housing and services, of connecting people, just the sort of the pipeline to help people, information flows, a cooperative network of service providers, city, the governments.
Yeah, where we can be more intentional, you know, and be able to help you more efficiently, and focus more on the long-term impact, and not just keep people just surviving.
It's amazing. You're all on the same page, from the mayor on down. You guys are all right there on the same page. It's nice to see that, and you're excited. Excited about it. You know.
It is.
And we are actually leading the program to address homelessness here in Houston, which we call The Way Home. The Way Home has well over 100 agencies, funders, different organizations that work together to build the system that is very user-friendly, client-friendly, to try to move individuals into permanent housing with the supportive services they need as quickly as possible.
We've got to help those people out there that are stuck, first and foremost. And we've got to get them into housing without judgment. You know, we can't expect that they're going to be able to be clean and sober before we move in.
That takes a lot longer.
Right, or that they're going to be able to pay the rent right away, because how can you get a job when you're on the street? No judgment, get them into housing, don't say no, say yes. And that's how we were able to get traction.
You can try to legislate yourself out of homelessness, but you can't. You really have to solve the problem, and there's only one way to really solve it, and that is to have appropriate housing for those that have been homeless.
The idea was that let's get people into housing first, and let's bring the services to them. You know, that sounds so logical, but it was different than we had approached things here before. We're tired of pouring money into a problem and not really helping people in the way that they need to be served, and not really solving the problem. And we believe that if we try this new model, that we can actually end homelessness, effectively end homelessness in Houston.
We believe that given free choice, no one will choose to be on the street. But sometimes we weren't giving people free choice. We were saying the housing unit comes with a condition. You got to be sober. You got to be something else. You got to have a job. You got to go to these classes. Housing first means you come in, you have safe, stable housing, and then you choose which of those support services you want to take advantage of. There is no requirement.
True believers on housing first, right? I mean, we really are trying to move folks straight into permanent supportive housing and make sure we make a difference.
We started in 2012, and we at that time had a whole lot of individual agencies trying to do everything all by themselves. So because they really wanted to help each client as they came in, and so they felt like they needed to address housing and food and clothes and GED and everything that one client needed, health care. And so what we did was, instead of saying, what programs do I have that help, that I can put Tony in, we flipped the question and said, what does Tony need? And so by asking the question in that way, we were able to identify the needs and how quickly we can move Tony into housing, and what would it take in order to support his ability to be in that housing long term. We pulled together all of the agencies. We talked about who did what best. The people who build and run housing aren't very good at case management. And the people that are really good at case management don't really know a whole lot about construction and property management. And so instead of each of those doing the part that they don't do very well, we partnered them.
Actually, about 10 years ago, we were about to go broke because Search was one of these human service agencies, grassroots, that couldn't say no to helping people. We wanted to be able to do everything. So the things that we stopped doing, one was housing. It was ironic. I mean, it was really difficult for our staff to say, wow, really? We're going to let go of our housing programs, even though we're a homeless agency and people need housing? We need to be able to make ourselves indispensable to the housing partners. We stopped doing the feeding, the day shelter. So for us to say to our founder, you know what? We've got to stop doing what you started. It was very hard. She's like, you know what? It's needed. It was needed back then. It's not needed by us now. Yes, now others are doing it. So we don't need to do that. Let's focus on what we can do best.
Deep down in everybody's heart, they knew that something needed to be changed, but change is frightening. Even good change is scary. All individual agencies, they were all their own organization. They each had their own board of directors. They each were formed for a particular reason, and now we were saying we might need to tweak that reason a little bit. And we've learned a little bit about what works better than other things. We had to stop some of the services we were offering. We had to change some of the services we were offering. One easy example is everybody gets hungry every day. And so a good way to engage an individual is to have the food service provided inside one of our agencies that can then provide other services, specifically assessment for housing.
Yeah.
So we had individual groups who really felt like they were doing the right thing, taking food down to a park or dropping food off at a corner. The reality is food is a great motivator for us all to come into the agency.
We didn't make any immediate decisions to cut funding off from people. What we said is that our city, our community is going to work together. And we would really like for everyone who's serving the homeless to be part of this overall initiative. And we had a light touch at first, I would say. We had a few grantees that we fund who said, well, we're not sure that we really fit into that system, and we're different, we serve a special need, and we're going to continue to serve that need, and you should continue to fund us. We gave them time to acclimate. We gave them time to understand what it meant for them. We gave them time to think about how they could do their work differently. What was really exciting was over time, yes, there were a couple of people that we said, you can continue to do the work the way you want to do it, but we're not going to fund you anymore because we are 100% behind this collective initiative. Today, everyone that we're funding within the space of homelessness is completely aligned and adding value to the system. That's pretty exciting.
You know, one thing that Mayor Parker was really big on is that if we spread the peanut butter so thin across the bread, we won't taste it when we bite into the sandwich.
Yeah.
And so if we have lots of different buckets for homelessness, and if we try to put a little money into each bucket, then we end up not being able to really help anybody. To say to nonprofits, hey, I know that you're concerned because we're asking you to do something differently. And you're concerned it's going to hurt you in the pocketbooks, that you might not get that funding from private funders. And I can say, the mayor or his office, we will contact that funder and make sure that they know that you're part of this amazing, collaborative, transformational system approach to ending homelessness. And we will do everything we can to make sure that it does not impact your funding at all. At the very beginning, we found that we actually had a good number of beds out there, but it wasn't the right people in the right beds. So you might have had a chronically homeless individual who needed permanent supportive housing, but they were placed in kind of transitional housing. And you had that person who didn't need that level of services that's in permanent supportive housing, but they were placed there, and they needed to be in transitional or rapid rehousing. And nobody would refer to each other because everybody needed their beds to be completely full so that they would get funding. It's human nature. And I wouldn't refer to another agency, even though that's the agency that person needed to be at, because I don't know if they would ever refer to me, and my bed's going to go unfilled, and I'm not going to be able to operate. But by having a coordinated access system, we can basically guarantee everybody that their beds will be full. You never have to worry about your beds not being full, because we're going to give you a constant supply of people, and it's all going to come through one door. No longer does a homeless individual have to go to the right service provider on the right day, at the right time, talk to the right person with the right knowledge to get help. Now, no matter where they're at, everybody gets assessed through the same portal, they get the same information, they get the same opportunity to be placed on the path of housing. And that's the beauty of it. It also helped that working with our agencies, you're going to get referrals, but you're going to have to take, we're focused on housing our most vulnerable homeless first, okay? And you cannot decline to take individuals. And if you do decline, that's fine. You just have to provide a reasonable explanation. But no more just picking and choosing the people that you think are going to succeed in your program. Because what happens is the most vulnerable continue to stay on the streets. Because you take those that are less vulnerable because you feel they have a higher chance of succeeding in your program, which will have higher numbers out there.
Whatever agency you go to first, wherever you are, there is a standard housing assessment that a trained assessor will provide that assessment to you. Because we had all this great data in HMIS, we knew who had beds, who had open units, who had services, and so we built a program that kind of like hotels.com. You'd tell us what your needs are, or what you'd answer these assessment questions. We'd be able to match you in the system with available units if there were. We found a place where it made sense to start the coordinated access. We didn't create a place. So the Beacon was the logical place because it was the day shelter. And that's where so many of the unsheltered homeless went, because they offer showers and meals.
We have a place like that.
And so we started there. And they gave us a little corner, and then it's grown into its own office size.
At the Beacon.
That's
So the space that we're in right now is called Coordinated Access, and this has been in place here at the Beacon since 2014, and it's really part of the whole citywide effort with the Way Home initiative. So in these offices is where we'll have staff that perform housing assessments. The Beacon is really a natural place of engagement. We're pretty much in the heart of downtown Houston right now. It became a natural place for us to be able to reach out to them and connect them to this piece.
This is going to be one of your housing assessments. I'm just going to go over some past medical history, any criminal background, and just places of where you've been staying over the last few years, okay? Past substance abuse, alcohol or drugs ever in the past?
Yes.
Are you no longer using?
Yes.
From time to time? Would you say monthly or weekly?
How about daily?
Daily? Okay. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I really appreciate your honesty.
You hurt, you homeless, you got nothing. Go to the hospital and they throw you out there on the street. So they can't treat you.
I've heard that a few
They
times.
say, I got shot in my penis. They threw me out.
And that was last year?
Yes, they threw me. Get out. I got shot in my penis. You hear me?
What hospital did you go to?
Being tough, they kicked me out. They threw me out.
And got you on the wait list. It did qualify you for permanent housing, which is long term. You stay there as long as you want. Can you check with me like every other week? Okay. And if not, I can probably find you at Herman or
Willow Station.
Willow Station. Okay.
I'm in the second orange tent. You got
The second orange tent? I'm gonna make a little note so that I know where to find you.
And you don't even know me, sir,
I don't.
but you care about me.
Of course I do.
And I got people in Houston right here that know me and don't care about me. That's the ones that can't help themselves.
The one thing I think we have learned here is we've been able to show that we can make a difference if we all work together. And we all have a very strong vision of where a common goal, where we're trying to take this. And we have some deadlines.
Proof is in the pudding. 5 years later, we have housed over 3,500 formerly chronically homeless individuals, and they're in permanent supportive housing.
What I'm finding nowadays is when I travel to another city, I'm really surprised by the number of homeless that I see compared to what we have here. When we started the Way Home, we were at about 8,500. For last year's count, we were at 3,600. It's funny because there's a lot of sensitivity by people to the number that are there, right? And I keep thinking, you just don't remember what it used to be like.
I have only 13% charge, but I need to find a place to go. I have no idea where. I wish you were here. I miss you. Poor thing. Yeah, those are the worries that you have when you're homeless. I know. I've been away from it. I've been kind of on a reprieve for 3 days from all that kind of stuff, but it's all coming back. Where are you going to camp? Where are you going to charge your phone? Where are you going to put your things while you go make your appointments? You know, it's really a hassle. I'm starting to think about, oh yeah, when I get back, what am I going to do? And I'm starting to get back into that mode again, and it's very depressing. It feels like a big weight on my shoulder. This feels like vacation. Oh, it feels good to be back. It's definitely San Diego. You can just feel it in the air and the smell. We really have a nice city here. Let's see. Oh boy, this is not here. If I don't find it, I'll have to resort to my instincts, which is finding some cardboard and building a box and get inside of it for the night, and then worrying about the rest tomorrow. But thank you. It's been a wonderful adventure, and we have more to go tomorrow. I'm going to have to get my rest, that's for sure.
All right, you got my phone number?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll see you.
All right, okay.